I think it would be very foolish for Israel to start another war. But that leads to the question, why would you start another war? If you think about it, if Iran is dealing Israel more than a bloody nose in a potential second war, and Israel feels threatened in a meaningful way, you can imagine how that could lead to a situation where Israel justifies the use of nuclear weapons on Iran.
One here. So this was your live stream you just did. Iran in full alert. Iran in full war alert amid Israeli threats. So, well, what can you tell us about Iran being on full war alert?
Well, there was a meeting, a summit that was supposed to take place next week in Tehran, hosting a bunch of media, social media influencers and independent journalists. Pepe Escobar was another person who was supposed to attend this event, and they canceled the event. The Iranians did. And the reason why was war preparation and war readiness. That's what was given to the attendees. So apparently all of the IRGC commanders are in bunkers right now. This is from sources in Iran. They're all preparing for this. I was invited to a meeting with President Pezeshkian, the Iranian president, in New York City at the United Nations a few weeks ago. I obviously wasn't there. I'm in Moscow. I was in Africa during that meeting. But apparently at the meeting, he said another war is coming. Israel's going to launch another war. And he feels as though they're going to target him, in addition to many civilians and military and political officials. So I think this is coming. There was also a major intelligence report that was just released from Ismail Khatib, who's the intelligence minister in Iran, and he just exposed that 50 countries participated in espionage activities against Iran during the 12-day war, including Turkey, who's their neighbor, and many Arab countries who are supposed to support Palestine and those who defend Palestine. So things are heating up, and it's not looking good.
What do you make of that? What do you make of that, Turkey and the other Gulf states turning on Iran in that way?
Well, they're all cowards. I mean, you know as well as I do that Turkey provides lion's share of Israeli oil. It's Azerbaijani oil that travels through Turkish pipelines each and every year. Erdogan always comes out and talks about how he stands with Palestine. But if you stand with Palestine, why are you going to supply the Zionist entity with, I think it's like 40% of their annual oil consumption? Doesn't make any sense. And for the Gulf countries, these Arab states, Arab states excluding Yemen, they're all ready for normalization. I think they are chomping at the bit for normalization. And if it wasn't for the ultra deranged policies of Smotrich and Gavir, I think we might actually have seen it by now. But it's not surprising to me at all.
So a lot of people said that it wasn't over. The 12-day war wasn't the end of it, that they had just kind of run out of munitions, in fact. And in fact, Ukraine thought that the United States was sending all its munitions to Israel. Israel thought we were sending all our munitions to Ukraine, and they were angry at it. But the United States just kind of ran out of munitions to supply them. And so the talk was that Israel was just waiting to rebuild and restock their munitions, and then they're going to attack Iran again. Do you think that was the plan? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think you got it right. I think also, well, they have new THAAD systems in Israel now. The U.S. dropped those there.
What are THAAD systems?
THAAD systems, THAAD interceptor missiles. Israel has a series of layers of air defense systems. This is one part of it. But they're very costly. The U.S. doesn't have a lot of them. I think we've dumped almost our whole supply into Israel now over the past 12 months. But, Israel, it doesn't matter if they have these. It doesn't matter if they have their Iron Dome. It doesn't matter what other layers they have. Iran humiliated Israel, and they only, according to the IRGC, used about 25% of the technologies that they possess in their missile arsenal. So Iran did a number on them, obviously. I think it would be very foolish for Israel to start another war. But that leads to the question, why would you start another war? if you think about it, if Iran is dealing Israel more than a bloody nose in a potential second war, and Israel feels threatened in a meaningful way, you can imagine how that could lead to a situation where Israel justifies the use of nuclear weapons on Iran, which would be their dream scenario, to be able to justify the use of nuclear bombs on Tehran and other major Iranian cities. I think that's a real possibility. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of what could happen here.
That Israel would be the first one to use a nuke.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's unclear whether Iran has a nuke. I think they should have a nuke as a means of deterrent, not to use one, but to be able to do what North Korea does. No one wants to invade North Korea. No one wants to invade Russia or China, for that matter, because they are strong and can defend themselves. Iran, they have very strong missiles, but of course, the question is what happens if Israel decides that they're going to make that final decision to deal a total blow, a devastating blow to Iran. The Iranians don't have anything that they could potentially use as a deterrent against them. But Iran also had a lot of problems they had to deal with in that war. I mean, they were caught off by surprise at the start. They had a bunch of internal attacks from Assad operatives, mostly Afghan migrants and refugees that were in the country. And as I just mentioned, they had 50 different countries. I can't even imagine 50 countries conspiring with Mossad to attack them via intelligence networks. So I think they're getting their house in order. Israel's doing the same. And it could be a very big blow here soon.
Just like most people don't know that Israel has a thing called the Hannibal Directive, which means that if they think one of their citizens or any of their citizens will be taken hostage, they kill them. That's the Hannibal Directive. And they killed them. Probably more people were killed on October 7th by the Israeli military than were killed by Hamas. That's and you know, if you saw those burned out cars, those were done. That the guys in hang gliders, Hamas guys in hang gliders, didn't do that. That was done by I think it was you know, Apache helicopters or
yes,
that from the Israeli Air Force, right? And then they had tanks. They shot tank mortars into houses, and so they did everything they could to kill their own people to avoid them from being. So they also have a thing called the Samson doctrine. Can you tell people what that is?
Yes, the Samson option is if Israeli statehood, the survival of Israel itself, is threatened by any foreign actor, Israel reserves the right to target any of their allies or any foreign actor, aggressors, if they feel as though they're not being supported enough by the United States and their other allies. They can target them with a nuclear bomb. So if Iran is on the verge of, you know, I guess, preventing the future survival of Israel, Israel could say, United States, if you're not going to do what needs to be done, if you're going to block us from defending ourselves, we'll nuke you as well.
So the Samson option is the option to take everybody down. If Israel is on the verge of losing a war, or if the sovereignty or the life of the Israeli state is threatened in a serious way, they then will start nuking everybody. And so that's like a threat to, you better come and help us, right? That's what that is.
It's like the genocidal nuclear equivalent of you're losing in Monopoly and you just turn the table over, I think. But that's a real thing. It's a real thing, and they could do it, I guess. And Trump this week, I have no doubt that Trump is completely, you know, controlled by them, and also I think in many ways controls them for the U.S. Goals in the region. But Trump this week did say that he would threaten to cut all Israeli aid if they annex the West Bank. I don't know why he drew the line at annexing the West Bank. That apparently, you know, murdering 70,000 civilians wasn't enough to piss him off, but annexing the West Bank is something Trump has claimed to draw the red line at. And even though I don't necessarily believe him that he'd cut off all aid, I do think it's the first time an American president has said something like that publicly.
That he would, that there's a circumstance where he would cut off aid to Israel. That's the first time I haven't remember ever hearing a American president saying that. So
yeah, it's another question of whether or not we believe that. But to even say that is kind of a, you're asking to end up like JFK, I think, if you say something like that.
come see us in Australia. Second show's added in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. We'll see you in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Plus, January 11th, we're going to be in Waikiki at the Blue Note. Tickets not available yet for them, but go to jimmydore.com for a link for all the other tickets.